Hello, everyone. I'll give you a few minutes to connect to our translation, to our lecture. Nice to see you, everybody. Please tell me, how can you hear me? Is everything okay with the sound, with the video? Sorry. Hi, guys. Please tell me if you hear me, if everything okay. Mm, Please write plus in the chat or something, or say me hello. Okay, great. So, hello. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yuri. I'm co-founder, technical specialist of KF.SCHOOL and KF.SCHOOL. Um, we are working on interior design projects since 2014, I guess, and a few years ago we were started visualization school. So this is one of our first lecture in English with many countries. Please write to me in comments from what country you are. It's very interesting for us, and we're glad to see everybody, and we're glad to see everybody who will study with us. It's a free mini course for our fall course. It's called Light Start. So today I'm introduce you 3D Max and the main things that you need to know to work with it. Um, we will discuss mm, many things. It will be interface, it will be cameras, it will be some options, and we'll try to render some simple things like a sphere in little room and an armchair. So let's start. This is 3D Max. How can you see? For the first look, it seems to be a very difficult program with many buttons and menus and other. So let's do it step by step. And the first step will be unit setup. The first thing you need to do when you're working with 3ds Max um, is you need to do it, you need to go to customize menu and you need setup button, and you can change your system for your country. If you are from USA, you can change it to meters, kilometers, and the system units you can change to feet, inches, miles, and whatever. So we are working in millimeters in our country, so here and here I use millimeters. Okay. The next thing is Windows. We can see for Windows we can change the views in it, so it can be top view, bottom, front, back, left, right, whatever. To change it, you can change it in this menu, or you can change it by pressing a button. For example, for perspective it's P, for top it's T, and other. We like to use one window in our work, and it's more simple for us. And to do it, you can press Alt plus W, so you can see only one window and you can work in it. The next thing, you can see so many buttons here in this menu and this menu. Few words about it. This button is the main buttons to move your objects, to rotate it, to select some by name or just by clicking it. I don't want to spend so much time for discuss every button. You can see it in your computer and click some of it to see what it means. The main things here is our scripts that we used in our work. Few words about. This script is Corona Gamma. It changed your gamma in your pictures to different, to make the picture more light or more darker. This is prune scene. This script allows you to check your scene for some difficulties, for viruses, for garbage, for using a lot of memory and other things. You can see it here. It has online active protection from viruses, because some models from stocks has viruses, and your work will crash with it. So it's very good script. We use it every time we work. The next one is collect a set. This script allows you to make an archive with your scene. You can save your scene with archive, which will contains every model, every texture, everything of it, because you need to do it to send your scene to some other workers or your customers, for example. Okay, this is quick attach script. This is very small script. It allows to do one object from a few objects. I can create two boxes to show you it. You can select it and run the script and attach it. And for now, this is one object, not two. You can see it here in this section. Okay, the next one is Copitor. It's a very fun thing. When I start in a translation, this script is never working. Don't know why. So this script allows you to copy objects from one scene to another. It's very useful, and you need to have it in your 3ds Max. The next one is floor generator tools. It allows you to create floor generator on the different planes of your object. For example, we can select polygon here and open floor gen tools and create floor gen on just on it. To see it, we will discuss it in our full course or on the next lections with Olga. It's very interesting and very useful. So the next one is is for Unreal Engine, and we don't work with it. And this panel, it's very useful too. It calls axis constraints, and it allows you to move your object by one of planes. For example, if you choose X, you can only move it by the X axis. Okay. I think this is all for our scripts and plugins. This is one on the left side. You can see a Corona render toolbar. We are using not all of these buttons, but you can see that you can create Corona camera here. You can create Corona lights and other. The main thing that we used is Corona converter. It allows you to change material from different render machines to Corona materials. It's very useful. And material library, we are working with our materials. And maybe Corona frame buffer, video frame buffer. This is how it looks like. Little later we talk about it more complex, more. Next one is the command panel. This is it. Here we can see many tabs with many buttons, but don't be scared, it's very simple. The first one is tab calls create. Here you can create simple objects or more complex objects, lights, simple objects, line, circle, and other. I will show you. For example, how we create a box. We just click left button of mouse and create box. Also, we can create plane, cylinder, cone, and others. Here you can see more complex objects. For example, it can be windows, for example, but we don't use it. We use some models from stocks, but if you want to create it like this, you can. So your homework will be to click every object of these menus to know what it means. We use the first three menus: standard primitives, extended primitives, and compound objects. Compound objects allows you, it's Boolean and pro Boolean mostly. We will see it later in our lessons. Next one, okay. This menu is for splines. You can create some line. You can create line with Bezier. And later you can change its parameters and add some modifiers to change it somehow. For example, to create ceiling, we can draw a line. Close it. Then we go to the second tab, modify, select vertex and move it by y-axis. Okay, then we can add modifiers to this spline. What it could be, for example, it could be extrude modifier. if we add extrude modifier, we just make it make volume of this object, and this could be ceiling for example, or floor. What else? You can create line in it. It will be the same spline but the other line, and when you open the extrude modifier, you could see a hole in it, a hole in the ceiling. Also you can add, for example, sweep modifier. There is a lot of it. You can see that modifiers is our everything, I think. Few of it I will show you. For example, sweep. You can see that our spline is now an angle, and it could be a bar, it could be a cylindric spline. You can change its parameters in this section. This is parameters section. Guys, if you have some questions, you can ask me. I will try to answer you. This is one of my first English lessons, but I'll do my best, honestly. Okay. This is splines. Okay, this is lights. We are using in our work, we are using Corona lights and Corona sun. It's only two buttons for lights, and for its parameters you can change here the shape of the light. You can create rectangular light, disc light, or cylinder light, but most usable is sphere and disc. Corona sun look like this. You can change intensity and size of the sun. You will see it on your render when you create your first scene. This is cameras. We are using only Corona cam, so I will show you it too. That's how it looks like. Not so difficult, just camera, and you can see the plane that you can see on your render. If you click C on your keyboard, you can see the view from your camera. Okay, and you can change the view of your camera. You can walk in it, you can orbit your camera by clicking these few buttons below. Is everything clear? Please type something in our chat so I can know it. Or maybe you have some questions, or maybe you're sleeping now. Okay, so parameters of camera in the second part of our lesson. Let's finish with this. This is helpers, we don't use it. This is forces, we don't use it, and this one we don't use too in our interiors, in the creation of our interiors. Okay, that's all. This is all creating menu in 3ds Max. Okay, the next one is modifier panel. Is menu where you can change parameters of your objects and modify it. When you choose some object or create some object, you can tap on this tab and modify it, or customize it somehow. Okay, this one, this tab is tab for adjusting our pivots. We can change it. For example, if we If we click here and edit poly modifier, we can change its parameters, and as you see, our pivot will be here, not in our object. To get it in the center of the object, you can change effect pivot only and center to object. Okay, the next one. Motion is more complex questions. Display. This is interesting. This panel allows you to hide some objects by its category. For example, you don't want to see the lights in your scene to modify some geometry, and you can click it and all lights will go. You can hide all. You can hide by clicking on some objects and unhide it later, or unhide by name. Not so difficult, right? Okay, and the last one, we are using measure tool here. It allows you to see dimensions of your object in real time. Sometimes it's very useful. Okay. This is all about the main interface of 3ds Max. I think it's very clear and simple. You can ask me some questions if you have some. I will be glad. And also I will be glad if you like this video on YouTube. It's very important for us. Okay, so now we will create a scene, and we'll try to render some objects to see what we can do on our first lessons, on our first look of program, and to see that this is not so difficult as seems. Okay, so I will delete it. I will Control A, select all, and delete. Okay, now we will get to standard primitives and create some box with parameters. I think 5 meters by 5 meters by 5 meters. Okay, this is a simple box. Then the second step is to create sphere in this box. Every objects in 3ds Max are 1 second, please. Okay, are empty inside, so we can create a scene inside our simple objects, and we will do it now. Let's create a sphere. To create it, a tab called create and a sphere. Just click left mouse button and that's all. Okay, now I will change the view for forward front, and I will move my sphere here on the bottom of our box. To see something in this box, we need to set up some lighting in it. Clear, thank you. Okay, let's create a light inside. It will be a disc-shaped light, just here. And the next step is to create a camera. we are creating it inside the box, and to see what our camera sees, just click C on keyboard, or here you can choose your camera. Okay, this is our sphere, and that's all. Let's render something. To start it, we should go to Renders tab. This panel, there are many buttons here too, but don't be scared too. The common parameters is allows you to change the resolution of your render, and this is the common thing here. Okay, so we click Output Size Custom. Usually we are working with HDTV formats, with Instagram formats. Instagram format is 1200 by 1500 pixels, and in proportions it could be more. And vertical format for Reels is HDTV, but with other sides. Okay, so to see this format in our view, we should press Shift plus F. So okay, and now we can see what we will see on the render. Next tab is a scene parameters, general settings, and other. What we use here is the progressive render limits, noise limit. We are using 2% for it, or 3%, and the time limit. If you need to work down by some time, you can allow these limits. Okay. For now, we start interactive render to see in real time our sphere. Okay. Here we can change some parameters of our camera. For example, for photographic parameters, usually we use focal length, and like on the real cameras. It's a more complex question, but we will discuss every of these parameters in our course, because it will be a long time. Okay. Also, we can change parameters of our light. This button, select by name. We can pick here our light and change its parameters. For example, temperature of light, its intensity, and, for example, directionality. I think that this is something more interesting. Okay. What are we seeing in Corona frame buffer? Here you can see the status of your render, how many passes are gone, what is noise level for this render for now, and you can do a post process, some sort of post process, like in the Photoshop, for example. Okay, we will open this tone mapping, and I will show you the main things here. Let's open it. What are we usually using here? It's exposure settings. We can change it. It's white balance. We also can change it here. This one we don't using. Contrast. You can change contrast here. Saturation. More colorful. And this is access output transform. It's very interesting thing. We're using it. You can see what it means by changing the number of bits. Okay. Here are bloom and glare, sharpening and blurring, and denoising parameters. Everything we will discuss in our course a little later. So, how do you like it? It's a sphere in our first scene. Tell me please, is anybody working with me in real time? Maybe you're trying to do it. How can I see where to put inside the box? It's not transparent. Okay, this is on your keyboard. Just press F3 and you can see through the objects. Okay, and the last thing I want to do today is to put some model in our scene and do a little render with armchair. I have a ready model. You have it too. We are sending it. So this is model of chairs. I'm just putting it into scene and merge and click merge file. Open. And we should wait a few seconds. Ready. Great. And now I will select our box with our sphere and copy it. To copy it, I'm clicking, I'm pushing Shift on my keyboard and just move it around. Here we have clone options menu. You can copy these objects, you can instance or reference these objects. Copy objects is creating a new objects with different parameters. But if you, for example, create lighting in your scene, in your room, in your future interior, to change all lights one by one, you need to press copy. But if you want to change all lights by changing parameters on just one, you can instance it. So now we need to copy it. Okay, we have a different camera. If we click, if we push button C on our keyboard, we can see that we have two cameras for now. Okay, let's replace our sphere by armchair. Let it be green one. To rotate object, we can push this button rotate, or we can push the button A on our keyboard. Sorry, to rotate the button E, and to rotate with the angle of 5 degrees, you can push A. Here, angle snap toggle, you can change its parameters by clicking right mouse button. Okay. let's see what we have. We have an armchair. Inbox. To start interactive render from Corona frame buffer, we should long press render and click start interactive. Here is the window. It means that 3ds Max can find some textures from our chair. We have materials here, but we don't have textures. And to find it, we are using relink bitmaps script. We will open it, and here you have only 2 windows. This window shows which textures 3ds Max can't find, and this one will help you to find it. So here we add a folder with our textures. It's desktop. Okay, select add and click button relink. Ready. And we can clear log. As you see, the texture is here. So let's press render. And let's find some angle for this chair to see how it's beautiful. I will orbit camera here and just go somewhere here. I don't like where is the light situated, so I will move it a little bit and maybe change its intensity. Like this. I think it's not so bad. The last thing that I want to discuss today is creating of materials, but very simple creating. To create any material of your scene, you need to open material editor. Here you can see some spheres with some materials, but we don't use these materials. We are creating ourselves. We are creating it ourselves. So just choose some of these spheres and click here, physical material. We need to set up Corona material. So it will be Corona Legacy MTL, for example. We need to select our box and put this sphere on our box. So now our box is gray. We can change its color by changing diffuse color here. It can be any color you want. For example, let's it be green. We can do it with our armchair. What we have here map, not color, a map. And when we choose this map, we have color correction modifier here on our material. And we can change its color by moving this want to do something beautiful for now. White balance is 2000. The standard is 6500, so it will be something like this. Maybe a little more exposure. No. How do you like it? I want to see everything. If you have some questions, it's all, guys, for today. It's the main thing I want to discuss with you today. This was our first lection of our course. It will be 3 more lections with Olga, and her English is not so bad as mine. But I hope you will like this video. I have 2-3 minutes for your questions. If you want, you can ask me here now. I hope everything is clear. And your homework will be to do some sort of this render with the armchair and to click all buttons in our 3ds Max window, because the next lection will be with the full scene. I don't know for now what scene it will be, but it will be very interesting. Thank you for coming here today. Thank you for being with me. We'll see you the next week. I think the same day and the same time. So, bye and see you.